How y'all doing? My name is Dennis Amadeus, and this is a poem called Background Check. These days, it's rare for the average person to exist on this earth for all 80 of their years and come to an understanding with what their purpose is. So how blessed I must be to have been able to find mine in this. Now, they say opportunity typically comes to your front door, and I can hear it knocking through my throat every time I perform. But it seems like no matter how hard I try and outstretch my arms to answer it, I can never get past these bars. In this track and field life, the biggest hurdle that I continuously have to jump is the background check. And I seem to trip every time. Sometimes it's just a stumble, but sometimes it's a full-on face-busting freefall that leaves a mark on my soul bigger than the ones on my record books. I've been denied for jobs, teaching positions, mentorship opportunities, and from just doing poetry in the classroom. One time, a principal actually called the sheriff to come escort me out of his school. And his words to me were, "I would be a fool if I let anybody talk to my kids with a record like you." And it was at that moment I discovered the best way to defeat somebody. Take away their God-given worth. Brand them a troublemaker and take away their work. And if their worth is measured in how they work with kids, then it's not hard to understand how that brand made me feel worthless. Purposeless. So I had to start to define for myself what purpose really is. You see, eventually I came to this understanding that purpose is something that God gives. And since anything God gives isn't something man can take away, then God must also create the conditions that make it seem that way. So if I feel these weights getting heavy on me during this race, it's not because I'm simply meant to feel the pain of disaster. No, it's because maybe he needs me to be stronger rather than faster. Because my power will directly come from everything I've toppled that they use to try and break me. Each one of these tripped up hurdles is just a lesson, a reminder to myself to never settle for second. Because those that need me need more than just another second-rate teacher. They need an educational weapon. But I can't counsel kids because they claim I clash with cops. Meanwhile, corrupted, coked-up controllers cancel classes round the clock, shun the reading, cancel the outreach, build schools on top of cash, and label me unfit to teach, when I just know that poetry is something every child branded at-risk needs. Because I understand what it's like to be viewed as something you yourself can't see. They ran some checks into their backgrounds and labeled them at risk of what? At risk of becoming like me? But if that's the truth, then they're just at risk of becoming free, at risk of learning through strife, changing their life, and redefining what the label at risk means. The point I'm trying to make is that this is all a test, a way to prove to God that I am worthy of his best, a divine background check to balance my wants and haves, because I want to be able to proudly carry the label teacher. I want to be a positive educational force for my nephews and my nieces. I want to work every single day around kids, and I want to know I'm changing the way our future lives. So I have to study daily. I have to write a lot. I have to become one of the best poets of my lot. Because of the dumb things this young kid did, I have to keep proving myself until you all will listen in. Because in a land where a background check is the standard used to determine your worth, even a poet has to make his actions louder than his words.